Hello and welcome to your art class. I am your art teacher, Miss Tweeden, and I'm so glad that you're here. For some of you, welcome back, and for some of you, welcome for the first time to your art class. There are three things that we're going to do today. First is I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. Again, I'm Miss Tweeden. I'm your art teacher. I'll tell you about myself, my history, a little bit about my family. And then the second thing we'll do is we'll talk about the rules, what we do and how we operate in art class to make sure that everything runs smoothly and we can enjoy making art together. And then the third thing that we'll do is I'll talk to you about the art that we're going to make. That's the really fun part. So first, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm going to start at the very beginning, when I was a baby. I was born in Arkansas, but then moved to South Carolina when I was young, so I grew up in South Carolina. You can find a picture of me here when I was your age, when I was in school. After high school, I went to college. I went to a few different universities. I currently have a master's degree in art education. And I have been an art teacher for 18 years. I love this job. I love being an art teacher, and I'm so glad you're here with me. Now, here are some pictures of my family. I'm married to Justin Martin, and we have two daughters, Annika and Freya. We have two pets. We have a cat, and his name is Jeffrey. Jeffrey is 6 years old. We have a dog. Her name is Marley, and Marley is 8 years old. Our daughter Annika is 8 years old too, and she is starting third grade here at Red Bank. Freya is 5, and she's starting kindergarten here at Red Bank Elementary. Now that you know a little bit about me, let me tell you about the rules or our code of cooperation in art class. Following the rules is important, and that's important everywhere you go, including here in art class. I have two rules that we follow in art class. One is that we take care of each other, and I have some photographs here of students in art class from last year. We take care of each other. We also take care of our art materials. Those are our two rules, and they're both important for us to have an enjoyable, peaceful time in art class. So we'll take a moment to talk about that, and then I'll show you what we're going to make today. Okay, today we will be creating sketchbooks, and we'll use these sketchbooks throughout the year in art class, and I'll tell you more about that later. First, I want to show you how we're going to make them, and most of our time will be spent decorating the cover of these sketchbooks. You'll be able to choose whatever color you like for the cover from the paper cubbies, and I'll show you where those are if you're not sure or don't already know. You're going to fold that paper in half. You can see me doing that here. Now, this some people call this the hamburger fold because you're folding it the long ways. That right there would be the hot dog fold, but you want to do a hamburger fold so that your inside pages will fit nicely inside that cover. And I've got a packet of inside pages that I will be stapling inside there so that of course, the cover will stay on top. If you haven't gotten yours stapled, not to worry. You can go ahead and decorate. You could even, if you wanted to, draw inside your book, and I'll tell you more about that later. So here's how I staple those pages inside. I use a long arm stapler so that I'm able to get the staple all the way to the center, to the spine of your sketchbook, so that it is stapled together, but also will open easily to each page. And on the front page of your sketchbook, there's a place for you to write your name. Do write your name there. We want to make sure we'll know whose sketchbook is whose. So get your name there, and you can also write your grade, but I skipped that on mine because I don't have a grade. So name, though, is important. On that front page, there's a place for it. Now, to decorate the cover of these books, what I found works really well is a media called construction paper crayons. The cover is construction paper, and these crayons are designed specifically to work well on construction paper. And the reason that they work so well is because they're very opaque, which means you don't see the color of the paper through the crayon, so they really show up. You might have found in the past that like markers just don't show up on colored paper. That's because they're transparent media. You can see through them. So here you can see when I color, that pink shows up as pink on the purple paper. Now, in addition to just regular colors. There are metallic and glittery, metallic and glitter colors. To me, really, the metallic and glitter are both kind of glittery. But there's some different specialty colors that you might want to try out. And I believe the ones with the blue wrapper that I have there have glitter. And then you can see that in the crayon. And also you can check the wrapper. It'll tell you on there. So these work really well on construction paper. And you can use these on construction paper on the covers of your book. The reason we don't use oil pastels, which also work well, are very opaque, but they don't ever really dry like they would rub off on your fingers as you're handling your book. So we're going to stick with these crayons. They give like a waxy coating, which works well. Now, if you finish decorating the cover of your book and you have some more time and you would like to draw inside your book, that's fine, but don't do the color wheel. We're going to complete these color wheels later. So skip the color wheel. That's on the page after the title page. Go to the next page and you can draw on, limit yourself to 1 or 2 pages, like one spread. You can see here I've drawn on both of those pages. That's fine. That would be a spread, but no more than that. So we'll have plenty of pages for how we're going to use this book this year. And speaking of that, let me tell you more about how we're going to use sketchbooks, how artists use sketchbooks. Okay, sketchbooks. Let me tell you about how artists use sketchbooks. Artists use sketchbooks to record information. Here you can see a page from the sketchbook of Leonardo da Vinci, some notes on human anatomy. Leonardo da Vinci, born in 1452, died in 1519. Leonardo da Vinci carried a visual journal with him at all times so that he could record ideas, impressions, and observations. It is estimated that Da Vinci produced between 20,000 to 28,000 pages of notes and sketches. That is a lot of notes and sketches. A lot. I think it's like 50 books he filled that we've discovered. Artists use sketchbooks to plan out artwork. Now here's a page from Edvard Munch's sketchbook, and you can see the references to that sketch in this painting that he did, a very famous painting called The Scream. You see that landscape in the background? So he's planning in his sketchbook. Now here's a page from my sketchbook. Again, artists use sketchbooks to plan out artwork, and you can see how I was using my sketchbook to think about what colors I wanted to use in a picture. I'd already figured out the composition, but I just was trying to figure out what color scheme, what colors I wanted to use. Now, here's a photograph with his sketchbook of the film director Guillermo del Toro. Artists use sketchbooks to record their thoughts and ideas. And this is sort of like also planning out his artwork because he has notes here about a movie he was creating in that lower sketch called Pan's Labyrinth. But you may know him. He did the Troll Hunter series. So Guillermo del Toro used a sketchbook to plan as a movie director. Artists use sketchbooks to practice drawing. These are all pages from the sketchbooks of the contemporary artist Nicholas V. Sanchez. We're actually going to talk more about him. I'm going to show you more about his sketchbooks where he not only practices drawing, but also does finished artworks. Artists use sketchbooks to make art. Here's Diana Corvell holding her sketchbook, and you can see a finished painting there that she's holding against that landscape that she painted in her sketchbook. Now, let me show you more about this artist, Nicholas V. Sanchez, who uses sketchbooks to create finished art. So let me show you that.
I started drawing in ballpoint pen as a way to express the world around me. When you're taking in the world and all the experiences of small and big, that's when you become curious about things. You start to develop inspiration. The end result reveals itself. When you want to grow and want to be better, I think that's success. My ballpoint pen drawings touch on my family's Mexican cultural background and my upbringing in the Midwest. When I make my work more specific, it becomes more potent, and the more people can relate. Art is one of the few universal languages that exist. Art is the vehicle for me to create opportunities for other people. I'm providing a scholarship for an after-school arts program. You don't have to have a lot before you can start helping other people. I use a pen. My name is Nicholas V. Sanchez. I'm a ballpoint pen artist.
I love his art. Very inspiring. Okay, I'm going to show you a few more things. The beginning of this next video is quiet, so listen carefully. I'm going to show you about the room. Okay, I want to show you some things about the room. I have 4 large tables. You can see part of here, the green team. 4 teams in our class. Yellow team's back here, blue team, red team is off camera, and I'm standing here at the green team. Each of these teams has a colored smiley face hanging above it, so keep everything organized by these teams. You will have an assigned seat, so I'll tell you what seat you sit at your team. And at your tables, you have the supplies that we'll be using today. The construction paper crayons, I've changed those from the cardboard box in the video. They're now in a plastic box that's coordinated to your team color. I also put out stencils. Some students like to use these to trace designs in their, on the cover of their sketchbook. I find the best way is to use a pen or a pencil to trace the design, and then if you want to add color, color in with the crayon. Pen or pencil, because the crayon point isn't as precise as a pen or pencil. If you want to sharpen your crayons, at our tables in our pencil tray, where we have, of course, our pencils and erasers, we have sharpeners for sharpening pencils in the small hole, and if you'd like to sharpen a crayon, use that larger hole. Otherwise, it clogs up the small hole. Small hole pencils, big hole crayons. When you are finished today, you will save your sketchbook in the tray at your table. This is where I keep our artwork that we're not taking home, that you're leaving with me. Of course, in the end, you get everything, but just in the meantime, you leave them here so we keep things organized. Now, I told you a little bit about me in the video. When you come for me to staple your book, remember I'm going to staple those pages inside your book while you're decorating the cover. I'm going to staple the pages to the cover. That is a great chance for you to share something about yourself with me. And it could be something fun you did over summer, something about you that you would like to share, your family, pets, anything. It's just a chance for me to get to know you. And that sketchbook stapling time is a great time for that to happen. All right, you can see on the camera here, over here, on the chalkboard is a timer. For those of you that have been here before, a lot of this is review, but I want to let you know that I will set that timer so that you know how much time you have to work in art class. And I'll also give you a heads up when we have 5 minutes of work time, a countdown per se, so that you can start to prepare to know, oh, it's almost time for me to finish up for today. And if you don't finish, you can always add more later. But when that timer goes off, you have to stop and clean up. Clean up means you put everything back where it belongs. Sketchbooks go here, and then I will be looking for the first team ready because they will be the first team that will line up. We line up at this back door, and you can just see here on the screen these spinners and chimes. I will choose one of you to choose which one of those that we spin or ring first to celebrate that we had a great day in art class. I have some notes here I'm looking at. Seat assignments, table supplies, timer, cleanup, sketchbook sharing. One final thing I want to show you, and then we'll be ready to see our seat assignments and get started. Okay, if you would like to use pen, remember I mentioned that for tracing the stencils, pen can work better, or pencil. But if you'd like to use pen, either for that or if you have time to draw inside your book, remember we're limiting ourselves to one spread, those 2 pages, you can use pen. And I have gel pens. You can test here on this paper to make sure it works. When you put it back, make sure that you retract it so it doesn't dry out. And I also have out ballpoint pens, which have a little bit of a different feel to them. Both are great and are here for you to use. Ballpoint pens and gel pens. Of course, when you're done, you'd put those back here. All right, that's it. Let's find out where we're going to sit.